There was an idea.
To bring together a group of remarkable people.
To see if we could become something more.
So when they needed us, we could fight the battles
that they never could.
Okay. That's a familiar script. It's a dark tone. I like it.
In time, you will know what it's like to lose.
Shit, that voice.
Feel so desperately that you're right, yet to fail all the same.
That voice, though.
Dread it. Run from it. Destiny still arrives.
Okay, great.
Evacuate the city. Engage all defenses. And get this man a shield.
Fun isn't something one considers when balancing the universe.
Corvus.
But this does put a smile on my face.
Bucky and Wakanda.
Who the hell are you guys?
Can we just start by saying that the whole tone of that last piece there, it doesn't really fit the rest of the movie? I understand that this is a very easy way for Marvel to tell all of the people who just watched Thor Ragnarok, hey, this is what happens after Thor Ragnarok. Hint, hint. Okay? He meets the Guardians of the Galaxy. But this is kind of almost a funny moment. Who the hell are you guys? And then it cuts to, oh, this ragtag group of, interdimensional guardians. But it kind of betrays the rest of the mood of the movie. And that's where I think there's going to be some disconnect, or there's going to be some difficulty for Marvel balancing how fun and lighthearted and comedic both of the Guardians of the Galaxy movie and the newest Thor Ragnarok movie are and have been for audiences established as kind of comedy first, action second movies, and then taking these characters who are pretty integral to the Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War story. If you're familiar with the comic series, which is basically being brought to life on the big screen, more or less, to take these characters and put them into that MCU perspective and into that kind of giant amassing of heroes, and not have them just be the wisecracking guys on the sidelines for comedic effect. I would hate to see Thor. I mean, King Thor. He's got the eye missing. He's got the Thor Force. I would hate to see him and the Guardians of the Galaxy reduced to the comedic relief for this movie. So I hope that they quickly established this as a more serious tone for this movie, because otherwise it's going to feel really disjointed, jumping from scenes of Thanos, stepping on Tony Stark's chest, breaking Captain America's shield, basically killing Thor, and then, Chris Pratt cracks a joke. Drax can't do anything, couldn't even beat Ronan, and Rocket Raccoon is yelling about a gun or something. That would kind of be disappointing. Another thing I wanted to say, having now taken a very long look at Chris Pratt, is that really Chris Pratt? Can we get some forensics? Can we get some facial recognition on that person? That does not look like Chris Pratt to me. Maybe I'm just imagining things, but that looks like Chris Pratt's cousin who drank too much bleach growing up. Sorry, bro. I don't know what they did to you in post or what happened here, if you were kind of beefing up for a role in a different movie and then you cut this trailer kind of in between or something, but this does not. Everybody else looks like the character, and then we got old Chrissy Pratt looking like, and the Anna Faris thing really hit him hard. So I'm a bit confused if that's a stand-in or what. Jumping back to the beginning of the trailer, we see a pretty interesting scene between Scarlet Witch's character and Vision's character. And I like this because this, to me, identifies, or at least reveals, that Vision has gained more control over the Soul Stone, or at least whichever Infinity Gem they've assigned to that color, on his forehead, because he's taken human form and he can better control, I guess, the powers of the gem to kind of change his appearance, or somehow kind of separate his soul as a kind of human or semi-human being or entity from his kind of robotic, cybernetic physical body, physical form. And it will play later on, because as we know, we see someone with a glaive or a halberd actually taking it out of him. So we'll be curious to see how that impacts the character and his relationship with Scarlet Witch, if they try to play this up as a more dramatic movie, if maybe they're going to kill one of these characters off, so they need to play up and develop their interpersonal relationship and their bond together as a couple before ripping that away from us in the movie, both literally and figuratively. We see Thor here. Presumably this is before Thanos attacks, but after the end of Thor Ragnarok, if you've seen the movie. There's some spoilers there. We see a giant hand, which I'm presuming is going to be what people are dubbing as the Thanos Buster uniform for Veronica, previously the Hulk Buster. So it will be cool to see just how much of a role that plays in the movie. Then we see the familiar Bleecker Street address. Now we have Tony and Bruce Banner joining Wong. It's really good to see Wong side by side with Doctor Strange. We did not get enough of that in Doctor Strange, the origin movie, so it's really nice to see. I hope Wong shows off more strength in this movie as well, because he seemed like a bit of a pushover in the original. And hopefully Doctor Strange plays his role too, because he has a very integral role in this fight as far as the comics are concerned. He's one of the key players, with Adam Warlock appearing to be out of the picture for this one. It's going to rely mostly on his mystical powers to get the team to do things and go places. We get a really quick glimpse here of the spider sense. I like the fact that this wasn't really in the original Homecoming movie that establishes Tom Holland as the new Spider-Man, but then now they're showing this, so it's showing kind of an evolution of his powers. And then we see a much bigger evolution of his powers with the uniform. This is probably the closest thing we're going to get to an Iron Spider uniform without actually having the extra kind of spider limbs. I really like this look. It seems to be a little bit different than what we saw at the end of Homecoming. Again, spoiler alert, post-credit scenes are being destroyed. I'm not too sure what that giant device is in the middle, if that is something that Thanos is going to use to bring over the Black Order, which they've called it something else, Thanos' children. Or maybe the Black Order is the same. They've just changed Black Dwarf's name to Cull Obsidian. But I don't know if he's going to be using that teleporter specifically for them, or for the Outriders that Corvus has, or some other army altogether. But usually Thanos doesn't go by with armies. He usually sends his leaders, but then he just prefers to fight himself and not send kind of peons and pawns to fight his battles en masse. We have a little quick scene here with, again, the four characters that we saw exiting Bleecker Street. So this is probably just an extension of that scene inside the Sanctum, the New York Sanctum. We see here, this is again on the ship with Loki and Thor. This is on the Asgardian ship they used to escape Asgard. Most people are dead after Thanos attacked them, and this is presumably Loki giving up the Tesseract, which we know has one of the gems inside. It's either the Time Stone or one of the other gems. I think it's the Time or Reality gem. Reality to Thanos. Then we do see Thanos, and a lot of people have kind of made fun of this image of him, and yeah, his chin. It looks like it should. He's just not a very good looking character. Well, there's really not much to say about it. from that perspective. We get a really, really super brief glimpse at Proxima, who, to be honest with you, kind of looks like a mix between Proxima and Supergiant. I think they probably drew a little bit from both of these characters' designs to make her. I don't really know where she is or where they are in the background, but you will see Captain America. If someone can identify this in the comments below where exactly they are, given this screenshot, that would be interesting. We then do see Captain America catch her spear. The spear looks pretty lame, but hopefully it will carry the same power that we know it has, being made out of literally a star. And then, of course, we get the iconic moment.
And get this man a shield.
Where he steps out of the shadows. Very, very awesome. We can see he's working together with the Wakandans. Winter Soldier is back out of kind of his freeze stasis. Then we see Scarlet Witch here. Just typical battle stuff. We see the Thanos Buster. We see the new blonde Black Widow. Presumably she's fighting Proxima in the same place that Captain America was, because it appears that they're kind of working together as part of the same faction in and around Wakanda. So maybe that's where they are, in some compound inside Wakanda when Proxima attacks. Then we see Doctor Strange here. We see these pods landing. Again, this seems like it's kind of an earthly invasion with armies, which, again, doesn't follow exactly with the original storyline, but that's okay. They might adapt it for the movie and kind of give it a larger scale. But then we do see the Outriders that are famous both, or kind of associated very closely with both Thanos and Corvus. And we see Black Panther fighting them off. We're going to see a couple of other Avengers fighting them off. We should be seeing Cull Obsidian in Wakanda as well, because there's a very epic scene between him and Black Panther that I'm sure Marvel is going to want to recreate. I mean, they've left him in the movie and they've changed his name, so they've gone to great lengths to make sure that he is in the movie. If they leave him out of this scene, or if they change his place with Proxima, it would be pretty disappointing. Then we see Spider-Man getting owned by Thanos, as he should. There's just no way that any one superhero could take on Thanos one-on-one. That's just not going to happen, especially not once he has multiple Infinity Stones. Tony Stark's sad. This one, I believe, is Corvus taking out the stone from Vision, and I think that's Proxima standing next to Corvus. Proxima and Corvus being kind of a couple, so it'd be kind of interesting, Scarlet Witch and Vision versus Corvus and Proxima, if they're going to make a joke out of that. It'll be interesting to see if Vision dies because of this removal. They've made it pretty integral as part of his character and part of his power set. And then we see Thanos with 2 Infinity Stones, which does not bode well for the heroes. Now, whether he's going to collect all 5 in this movie, we'll have to wait and see. We've only seen a total of 3. There's still no scenes of him attacking or obtaining the Green Stone, the Time Stone from Doctor Strange. And then we still have the red one, kind of the ether, missing. And I'm not really sure who has that one at this point. If you could remind me in the comment section if you know. And then we end off with a pretty cool scene of the Wakandans charging at Cull Obsidian. And I'm pretty sure that's Cull Obsidian, also known as Black Dwarf. Actually, you know what? On other frames, that actually looks like Veronica, which is Hulkbuster or Thanos Buster. So still yet to see where Cull Obsidian is, but he should be the one here. But we got Falcon, Black Panther, Winter Soldier. You're going to see Captain America and Black Widow as well in this fight. But it looks just like a bunch of random enemies with all these superheroes to fight them. It's just a bunch of random enemies. But we do see as well, joining this group, both War Machine in the top left-hand corner, which is a bit surprising, and Hulk, with Falcon coming out from the top right-hand corner. Aside from the movie itself, there's going to be additional impact felt in the Marvel Games community after and leading up to the Infinity War movie in May, which we can all look forward to if you are a fan of Marvel Games and you play them. Although I don't play Puzzle Quest and Avengers Academy, I would guess that they are missing a lot of the core characters from this movie, so we're probably going to see new characters and kind of events to collect some of them, perhaps even stopping Thanos in some of them. I know in Contest of Champions they are lacking most of the Black Order, which are kind of the heralds of Thanos, so they're probably going to have some new champions, in addition to having some sort of new labyrinth or realm node map to kind of do the Infinity War gauntlet. As for my mainstay game, which I have a lot of experience playing, and I have been doing so for a long time and covering on this channel, Marvel Future Fight, I do expect there to be a lot of uniforms, and we primarily jump to uniforms for Marvel Future Fight because we have almost the entire cast of Infinity War currently in the game already. But on the other hand, we have a plethora of uniform options available to us to enhance the character's base model. In addition to uniforms, I do expect some reworks, or I at least cross my fingers and hope for some reworks to bring the Black Order up to speed and make them a little bit more powerful as they will appear in the movie, because they have fallen behind quite a lot. I am curious to see what they do with Supergiant, because as I mentioned, she is not in the movie at all, but Proxima is, so it will be interesting if we do see potentially Proxima buffs or some kind of uniform, but nothing for Supergiant. That could have a very real impact in the game. I'm not sure there are any new characters that they could introduce at this point for Infinity War, but I may be overlooking some key players, so let me know in the comments below if I've missed anything. Let me know how excited you are for this movie, especially after seeing the trailer, and if you expect any new Marvel games to creep up in the meantime, like for example Strike Force, and how much of an impact this colossal movie landmark in history is going to have on that game and this game and others. Hit me up in the comments below, subscribe if you're having a good time, and of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.